Hello and welcome. This is Diana. Thank you so much for joining me from thisisdiana.com. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about simple and effective steps to look and feel younger. It's part of the Age Me Better series, something I talked about briefly and introduced briefly in my memoir, but is part of one of the projects that I work on in the Design Your Life with Beauty. So we're going to talk about, this is for men and women, and really for any age at all, and things you can do to make yourself healthier overall, but specifically dealing with aging. Now that I'm officially over 50 years old, I feel confident in giving anti-aging and Age Me Better information. And people ask me all the time, well, what's your secret for looking younger? And they might answer themselves, oh, it's probably genetics, or it's probably this, or it's probably that. Well, let me answer. My answer is, I don't have one. Maybe except for being a super fan of sleep. And I associate sleep, restoration, beauty, and with a capital B, and as defined by me in my website, and youthfulness and health. But other than sleep and anything else, I really don't have a secret. I'm aging like everyone else. Boy, do I know it. But there are a few things that I do want to share, because people may not be doing them consistently or in a particular order or customizing it for them. So maybe this might be helpful in finding a way to, no matter what your age is, no matter if you're male or female, to make yourself be, feel, and appear more youthful, because they're really something we can do. We actually can do that no matter what our age is. So let's get started. The secret of youth has been searched for as long as humans have been on this planet. One way or the other, researchers and beauty experts are in search to find ways to slow down the hands of time and the aging process. But not only these, regular people, regular Joes, Janes, Bobs, and Millies have tried to find ways of, staying young. All kinds of methods have been used. And this elusive fountain of youth has been tried. Anything from, of course, what we have now in medicine, plastic surgery, or to what our transhumanist futurist movement called combining humans with machine and artificial intelligence to potentially have us live forever, or at least hundreds of years, to simple health gurus who just want to implement a healthy lifestyle so we can stay and live as long as we can, as healthy as possible. In my opinion, the most important thing to do is to be reasonable, be healthy, stay consistent in implementing a healthy lifestyle, eating habits, etc. Things I'm going to talk about in a few moments. And those things are things that any of us can do, mostly free. And some things, of course, there are charges for and prices for. And you are in control of what you want to use and how you want to use it. And let's get started with, for example, discussing what is it that ages us quickly, more fast than we ought to age. Because some people age or appear to age drastically sooner than others. And there are various factors that are contributing to that. And so some of the things that we have to consider is, what is it that each of us is doing or not doing that is contributing to us aging at the cellular level, or just looking older, which they're usually connected, and what things we can do to heal, restore, and slow down the process. So some of the things, I'm going to sit down and discuss them. Some of the things that ages us prematurely are damage to our cells from all kinds of factors, free radicals, UV rays, UVB rays, pollution, toxins in the environment, the types of food that we consume, all those things can do damage to us in our cells. And in our cells, we have these strands in the DNA called telomeres, and they're becoming, if you haven't heard of this word telomere, you're going to hear it all over. It's hot. It's a hot term that researchers, scientists, beauty experts are using now, because it turns out that these telomeres are strands in our DNA. The longer they are, the healthier or the more youthful we tend to be. The shorter they are, the more we tend to have cellular damage, and the older we are, our peer, and are transforming into, we're aging quicker than we should. And also it affects the way our cells mutate. So when our cells make copies of themselves, they reproduce copies that may have imperfections or mutations that are damaged. And that happens usually when the telomeres are getting shorter in our cells. And there are things that we can do. And what does that have to do with our cells? Well, everything, because things that you do can reduce some of the damage to these cells. As I said like a few seconds ago, food, how we take care of ourselves, how much sleep we get, all that stuff affects the size of and the length of the telomere. Also, another thing that pre-ages us and ages us even normally or regularly are changes that occur with us in our bodies with our hormones. So for men and women, we have different levels of hormones. We both have the same hormones, but a different amount of each. For example, males, testosterone may be lowered, and for women, all kinds of messes occur with our estrogen and progesterone, and that causes havoc in our system, in our body. And some of this is just a normal process of aging, but some of it is accelerated by lifestyle as well. Speaking of lifestyle, our lifestyle consistency, lifestyle changes, the reduction of activity that brings us health and stimulation and creativity and connection. That has a lot to do with it. Again, back to the physical structure of our cells, the fact that our energy in their cells, the mitochondria, these little energy centers, aren't producing as much energy because of any of these factors. And again, something that consciously may happen to us or even unconsciously, something mental, our brain, our activity. We may not be cognitively challenged. We may not be practicing new things, introducing new experiences into our life or creativity. And that reduces our brain's ability to reconstruct what people call and neurologists call neuroplasticity. I'll say that again, neuroplasticity. Another thing is, and this is more on the emotional and mental side, it's a disconnection from our larger purpose in this life. And it also extends to do we have a spiritual purpose? That is also a thing. And of course, the good old-fashioned passage of time on this planet causes us to age. Some of these things can be controlled, some of them cannot. Some can be tended to lovingly and tenderly. As they say, you can age gracefully, and that doesn't mean you just sit there and let yourself atrophy and fall apart. It just means that you live a life in balance with grace and presence. That's what it means. So although we can't stop, we can't control the passage of time, the natural aging process, we can still look and feel younger with self-care and self-honor. So these things that I mentioned that pre-ages us not only affects us mentally and our brains themselves, but it affects, as I told you, our cells and our skin is our largest organ. This is what the world sees or touches or experiences from us or smells, is our skin, our appearance, our physical structure, our face, our hands, our neck. Those things, those areas can be influenced by some of the factors I mentioned earlier: environment, lifestyle, smoking, all kinds of things. And you may look older than you are, and even if you are that age, you don't have to look your age. You don't have to see the damage that appears, because there are things you can do to prevent it or reverse it. then some of those things are consistent dark circles under our eyes. And I'm not saying that only older people have dark circles. I mean, you have very young people that have dark circles, and they appear younger and tired and sickly because they have these dark circles. And these dark circles could be genetic, but a lot of times they can also be other factors affecting those circles. You know, the damage that can be done on that very delicate skin under our eyes. Sagging skin under our eyes is also another thing, and it's separate from dark circles. And it's a little bag, a little sack that appears on many people's faces under their eye, and that can also change the way you look, and it makes you look older or tired or ill, depending on the degree of it. One of the other things that makes you appear physically older is. And one of the things that we are very familiar with are what we call wrinkles or lines on our face specifically, because that's what people seem to see or feel more. And the lines could be very deep, or they could be kind of shallow. By the way, I'm going to take a little digression here and share with you something. If you hear any ambient sounds like sirens, that's because I'm recording in the trenches, my friends, with you, right here, in the real world. I'm not in some fancy schmancy studio in a luxury luxe little, hidden trove of a space. I'm here with you, recording in real life, real world. I try to do everything I can to reduce the noise so you can hear me and you can enjoy the show. But please know that I'm aware of it, and I say better done than perfect. You can always fix it later. Just do it. So just to keep that in mind. So back to what makes us appear older. Not just be older or age older. Discoloration in our skin. There are certain types of discoloration that seem to indicate us aging. It's a particular hue depending on your skin tone, and you can tell, okay, this person, is what they call sometimes liver spots. I don't know why they call it liver spots, and I want to know why they call it liver spots. But the discoloration can be in our face, in our hands, in our arms, or different parts of our body, in our neck, and it's different reasons why we might have discoloration. But people may tend to attribute that with aging. Another thing that makes us appear older than we are or than we should be is the way you present yourself to the world. And I'm talking about physical appearance, like posture, the way we stand, the way we walk, the way we speak, the way we dress, how we groom. All these factors show us that what kind of energy level is inside of us. And you can see a 95-year-old person that has the youth and the energy of a 30-year-old, and a 30-year-old that looks 92 because they are not carrying themselves with the life force, the energy that they're entitled to have as a living person. So that's very important, and it's not necessarily something that is in our skin. You can do something, there's something around us, or we can stand, there's our muscular posture and our presence. And those are things that can be, with practice and mindfulness, can be adjusted. And it makes a huge difference. People are going to ask you, well, did you get any work done? Nope, I'm just standing straighter. I mean, if you want to tell them, you could just keep it a secret. Another thing that ages us or makes us look older is dehydration. And I am a fan of water, and I say this all the time in everything I do. Take a deep breath, because that's another one, but also drink some water and liquids that are life-sustaining. There are liquids that are life-sustaining. Everything in moderation. Don't overdrink. Don't drink gallons of water like a lot of people are doing out there. That may not be good for you. That could be deadly. Drink moderation water, but drink. How much you need depends on your body, your height, your weight, and your genetics, and your disposition. But sipping water throughout the day and drinking more water than other kinds of liquids is definitely going to show in you glowing. You're going to have a look, because our bodies are 70% water as it is. We need to have those cells full of fluid, life-restoring fluid, and it's water. So that's also very important. Lack of sleep, well, I already told you in the beginning, sleep is my passion. And I can't tell you how many people look older than they are because they think that sleeping is a waste of time. And this is why I'm writing a whole book on sleep and dreams, because we got to get rid of these myths. They are part of a system that's outdated, misinformed, and really trying to just, I don't know what they're trying to do, but it's full of bull. We need sleep. Sleep is important. A lot of important things happen during sleep, and you need to know about this. Now, if you naturally don't sleep a lot anyway, and you're still restored and healthy and happy, that's a whole different story, and that's something I discuss in my book on sleep. But in the meantime, the more you sleep, usually the better it is. I would say most of the time, most people sleep less than they ought to. Some, because of their circumstances they can't control, totally hear you, and that's a whole different story. But some of us, by choice, like we think it's a bad thing, and those are the people that I'm talking to. Another thing that really ages us, and this I would say that totally affected me at the deepest core, is chronic stress and trauma. That is one of the huge factors that really ages us prematurely. So that's something we really need to take seriously. A lot of people say, oh, trauma, chronic stress, PTSD, panic, and we get desensitized to those words. We kind of get used to hearing them, but we really need to address it. We need to address the fact that we have to tackle chronic stress and trauma. It's not that hard. Don't get stressed about tackling stress. It's actually a good thing. And as I said earlier, just to put a bullet point, a period on this, again, the way we carry ourselves, our manner of being, the way we express ourselves, how we speak or how we communicate, how we use our hands, how we gesture, our environmental factors all around us, as I said. So this is one of the things, these are some of the things we need to consider when we look at ourselves in the mirror and we see ourselves older than we should be. So until we find that fountain of youth, the thing to do is to consider healthy, balanced, doable lifestyle changes. And let's get some ideas of what those are right now. So I hope that you are relaxed. This is informative so far. You're taking a deep breath and sipping that water. Some of this may sound repetitive or really too simple to be true, but I'm telling you, you do it consistently, you integrate it as part of your life, and you customize it for yourself, it will make a difference. And I say that with an exclamation point. Now, it's impossible to control everything in our lives. I mean, we're here to learn, explore, learn through opposite experiences, duality. But there are things that we can do. For many of us, not everybody, but for many of us. And if you're one of the people that can make the decision to breathe consciously as much as possible, as frequently as possible, that helps you become more present. It helps you become more centered. Let's go a step further. As I said earlier, stay hydrated by drinking, hopefully and ideally, clean, fresh water on a regular basis. If you're addicted to sugary drinks, I know that's a hardcore addiction. I get it. It's not easy to do. Try to balance it out with a few sips of water along with what you're drinking until you can wean yourself off of it or find a technique that works for you. There are ways and techniques to help you work for that until you become much more accustomed to drinking healthier drinks. And it can be done every day. Just get accustomed to drinking a little bit more water and healthy drinks. Sleep. Oh, here we go again. Sleep. It absolutely makes you... I mean, there's a reason why they call it beauty sleep. And it's not a little, wishy-washy little thing. It's important. There are things happening at every level of our humanity when we sleep and we're dreaming, whether you remember it or not. there's restoration. There is working things out. There is hormone replenishment, cellular reconstruction in a healthy way. And you need to have enough sleep for those machinations to occur, for those, processes to happen. You need enough sleep. And you, and only you, can determine how much sleep you have. But I'm happy to discuss that with you if you have any questions about sleep, because I am an expert. Food. Well, everybody knows that you are what you eat. And the world of diet and eating is really complicated. I totally, get confused and caught up too. But they're simple things. The fresher, the less processed, the more hydration they can provide you, the greener, the healthier, meaning, that they have proteins, the basic nutrition that we need, proteins, and they have healthy carbs and healthy amount of fat that keeps our system, our body going, the better it is for us. And whether you are, a fan of a particular type of diet, just see if that diet is providing all the nutrients that you need, because sometimes they're not. They're just these fancy, trendy things that people are trying. So what you eat is really important. Make sure it's fresh, and it's, you have the right supplements to go with it. Because sometimes our food alone, just because of so much of it is processed, can't provide all the nutrients that we need. So we might have to, add some supplements and other goodies to our food, more nuts, more seeds, more this or more that, to complete it and make it healthier. So again, we are what we eat, but we also are what we do with our bodies. So we need to move. We need to move this body. And that's, again, I told you this, and I'll say it again, and I've said it before, with somebody with chronic pain or injuries or some type of damage, it's really hard to just get up and, like you see in some advertisements, and they're riding that super fancy bike, and they're like, not everybody can do that. So from anything from light stretching to walks around, whether you have a treadmill or walk around the neighborhood or anything. There's so many things for different fitness levels that there really is no excuse for us to move, even if it's certain parts of our body. We can't move the whole thing. There may be ways we can just work with our arms or work with our legs until we're able to get strong enough to work with other areas. And hopefully you have all those body parts. And if you don't, God bless you. And believe me, there are ways for us to be beautiful, stay beautiful, and healthy regardless. So movement is very important. Another thing is more of the mental, emotional, and spiritual way for us to retain our youth and restore our youth, and is to be present in the now and to relax on purpose. I used to be the warrior princess. I'm talking about worry, like worrying all the time, being in a state of worry and anxiety. But not anymore, thank God. And I still have my moments, but most of the time I make a conscious effort to take a breath again, get stabilized, get grounded, get centered, whatever it is, whatever word, get yourself together. And if that means letting yourself fall apart, cry, lay down, take a nap, scream, run, punch a punching bag, then you do that as well. As long as you release that energy in a healthy way, we do need to let go of the stress, and there are ways of doing it. As I said, through the movement I discussed earlier, which, just title exercise, but it's movement, or something what you may not associate as exercise, but something, like a martial art, a gentle martial art that, just moves your arms, or yoga, which of course it is exercise, it's movement. But any of these things can be done at various levels for everyone. And very important, in order to sustain yourself mentally, cognitively, and your brain-wise, find ways of keeping yourself stimulated mentally and spiritually, and seeing things from a different perspective. Don't get stuck in this box of negativity or stuck in your ways and become closed-minded, which happens to a lot of people as they get older. It starts in their 30s and 40s, and by the time they're 80, they're just like that's it. What is it? If you don't believe in what they believe in, they just become a cesspool of negativity, and that does nothing to enhance age and youthfulness. So keep yourself open to new experiences. Of course, if you're living in a modern, traditional society, and wherever you may be, if you have access to medical and health, access to checkups and services, use them if you can, if you have the finances and the ability to do so. Because we all need a checkup outside of ourselves. We can't always see what's going on in our bodies. We might need an outside source and professional to do that for us, or some type of machine or equipment to do that. So if you can do that on a regular basis, get yourself looked at objectively by a professional. That's very important as well. And see what they recommend, but also do your own research. Not every medical expert is an expert on everything. And there are a lot of alternative lifestyles that are healthy and forgotten from ancient cultures that we forgot about on our planet. People used to live up to 900 years that we forgot about and stopped using. And our lifespan got shortened, and they're increasing again. But that's because we're going back to traditional ways of being, and we're starting to reawaken and listen to what our elders and our ancestors would live by. Stay active. Stay active in your life, physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially. Stay active, because that will bring enrichment into your life. And in this is not an all-inclusive list. There are many, many other things we can do, but in this particular list, I will end with skincare and a skincare self-care routine. And self-care is pretty complicated because it's gotten very overused by the media. But in this particular case, in this particular instance, I'm talking about aging and skincare and taking care of our largest organ and not neglecting it. No, don't treat it like it's incidental. This is the thing that protects you from the environment, from the outside world. And it's never too late to take care of yourself and your skin and nourish it. Eating, being hydrated, protecting yourself from the environment takes care of your skin from the inside and the outside. But there are also things that you can add additionally to that to protect the layers of your skin, things you can put on it that also help to be antioxidant and antitoxins that you can apply. Like sunblock or sunscreen or some type of serums or lotions or creams, thanks to the advent of technology and dermatologists and doctors and healthcare professionals and beauty and the beauty world. And some of the things are organic, they're vegan, they're natural. Some of them are synthetic, but they're also effective and safe. So it depends on what it is. Again, a little research goes a long way. And I've done plenty of that. I did so much of it, I decided to brand my own skincare products. And I have them available for you to browse, peruse, and look at. And I will include that here, of course, at thisisdiana.com, which you can find all my information. And also, if you want to see and read this via blog, just again visit the website. I will provide the links, which is thisisdiana.com, and the info center. Just click on that, and all the links are there. So whatever I can't link verbally, you can just go there and click and do the research yourself. For example, if you're like, what is this telomere stuff? Okay, well, that's what that is. Or there are links on that site and references also that you can use for yourself and do your own research. So, again, general self-care, grooming, preventing sun exposure in any way, shape, or form that's going to cause damage to your skin. All those things go a long way. And, again, skincare, as I provide, I try to use something that as much natural as possible, but that's healthy and vegan and not processed as much as possible. So, use it, think about it, and check it. Check the website for all the information at thisisdiana.com, and you can just click all the links that are necessary. And I want to thank you for spending this very special time with me. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me at thisisdiana.com.